What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate. Thursday Night Football, Denver Broncos, Indianapolis Colts. Well, it's a great matchup. And we're here to give you everything you need lineup strategies, tips, FanDuel, DraftKings, everything you need to crush this showdown slate. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co founder here at Occupy Fantasy. And again, there's a very interesting slate. And what we do in these showdown videos here on YouTube, we talk about the injuries that impact the slate. Obviously, there are two major ones that impact tonight's game. Low risk and high risk lineup construction tips, both FanDuel and DraftKings, and just general strategies and general tips to help get you to the top of those contest leaderboards. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, get notified when we go live, upload these showdown videos every single Monday and Thursday. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content. It lets us know to continue to create more. Any questions? Again, always you can comment on the YouTube videos. I'll monitor them throughout the day. If you want in-depth answers, you want to chat with other members of the community, you want to sweat the games with us, join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/discord. Instructions are in the description below. So let's get into it. So, two major injuries, obviously. Let's scroll to the top here. And the number one injury, the most expensive player on the board, Jonathan Taylor. He's out, was ruled out yesterday on Wednesday, recording this Thursday morning. So JT is out. That's big. Who's that leave behind him? So Nyheim Hines, who's generally been the change of pace, the receiving back hit most of the time while he's been in Indy. He is 6,800, extremely underpriced for his new role. We'll talk about the role distribution here in a second. And let's just look at Indy running backs here. And so we have Nyheim Hines. We have Deion Jackson, who's been on the active roster. Only a couple touches so far this year. Let's take a look at him. Just 2 carries back in week 2 in that 24-0 blowout loss against Jacksonville. Okay. And then we also have Philip Lindsay, who I have in the lineup here, who is expected to be called up off the practice squad today. And Philip Lindsay bounced around. Remember, he was with Houston, obviously with Denver before that, on Indianapolis practice squad. So let's talk about this. So first of all, the biggest question is what happens to Nyheim Hines? Does he get a big role change? And there's some differing opinions out there. But I think the best thing we can do is look back to the 2020 season when Jonathan Taylor missed a game. He doesn't miss very many games, but he did miss a game back in 2020, back in week 12 of that year. And basically what they did was use Nyheim Hines as the lead back and mixed in the second running back a little more than they normally would than if JT was in there. So in that game, Nyheim Hines had 65% of the snaps, 10 carries, 8 receptions. I mean, that's incredible work, especially with the receiving numbers, if Hines can get there tonight. And then Jordan Wilkins at the time, who was the number 2 running back, saw 6 or 8 carries, whatever it was, 35% of the snaps. And I think that's what we can expect tonight. And I think if you've been following the roster, you just look at the depth chart, you see, okay, Hines is now number 1. Deion Jackson's number 2. Philip Lindsay will be the emergency guy, number 3. Not so fast. If you listen to all the beat reporters, and there have been various beat reporters for Indy who work for different outlets, obviously aren't working together, they've all pretty much come to the same conclusion, which is that Philip Lindsay has been on the practice squad for these types of emergency situations, more of the traditional running back. Deion Jackson made the active roster over him because of his special teams ability. Philip Lindsay does not play special teams. Deion Jackson does. So it's more likely that Hines gets his elevated role. Philip Lindsay steps into that running back 2 role because he has been practicing with the team just on the practice squad, while Deion Jackson keeps his running back 3 special teams type of role. Okay? That's not really that big of a surprise or a secret because the industry is catching on to this. If you look around any other industry site, Philip Lindsay is being projected for 5 to 10 opportunities, and at just $400, that's a major value, right? So $400, 5 to 10 opportunities. We saw something similar in the Tampa Bay and Kansas City game on Sunday night where Rachaad White expected to get more work. He ended up, I think, 11 or 12% owned in the big GPP on DraftKings. But if you just look at standard projections, he projected for less than half of what Lindsay actually projects. So we're going to see Lindsay get 25% plus probably. And we've had a handful of slates like this in the past, and it really dictates how the rest of the field builds their lineups. So if we have a $400 player projected for 25%, people are going to jam all the studs plus Lindsay. And I'll talk about the ownership discrepancy here in a second. Let's talk about the other injury on the other side, Javonte Williams. He's out. For some reason, they priced him down at $300. Not that it matters. He's not going to play anymore. But their lead back, Javonte Williams, is out. Mike Boone saw more snaps last week than Melvin Gordon after Melvin Gordon suffered his 4th fumble this year, which is crazy. But all beat reporters, even the coaches, are saying Melvin's going to be the guy that we lead on. Running back coach, offensive coordinator said Melvin's our guy. So Melvin Gordon's going to be the lead back here. Mike Boone's going to mix in. They signed Latavius Murray off the Saints practice squad. Again, just a couple days notice. He might get some carries, and later on down the line, he'll probably factor in more. But for this game, Latavius Murray, maybe a handful of touches. It's going to be the Melvin Gordon show. Mike Boone has been playing passing downs too. It's going to be a pretty healthy mix with Melvin Gordon leading the way. All that said, it makes a very easy, low risk lineup construction on DraftKings, right? You play Russell Wilson, you play Philip Lindsay, because everyone else will. 8,500 left per player. You can fit whoever you want. Sutton, Gordon, Judy, Hines, all these guys. You just fit them in. Whoever you like the best. Matt Ryan, fit him in, right? Let's scroll up a little bit. Yeah, Pittman, Matt Ryan. You can fit whoever you want, right? Start with Russ Wilson, the captain. He's going to be the most popular captain. Start with Philip Lindsay, going to be the most popular punt play. Fill in the rest from there. High risk is where it gets super interesting. But first, let's talk about FanDuel. Not that egregious of a pricing on Philip Lindsay. He is 7,500 here, right? So not a must play. Honestly, not even that great of a play at 7,500 if he's only going to get 5 to 10 touches, right? And JT 14K, Javonte 12.5K. So if we start Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, let's start with the jam all the scorers, right? Lock up all the scoring. Melvin Gordon, Nyheim Hines, only 5K left per player. Can't really do that. Have to fade one of these guys, and yeah, it's a little bit tougher here for sure. So really not a low risk slate on FanDuel. High risk obviously gets interesting as well. But let's continue on that path of high risk. Let's go back to DraftKings because this is where the slate gets really interesting. We've only had a couple of these over the past 3 or 4 years where we get a super mispriced guy at the bottom, and how ownership shakes out as a result. Let's go to our Occupy model. OccupyFantasy.com ranks every player, FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, projected ownership for primetime showdown slates. And I have here sorted by projected ownership, right? So, and this is just the flex position. So we have Russ Wilson, Melvin Gordon, Matt Ryan, Nyheim Hines, Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, the top 7 guys that I talked about. All of them are projected for 40% or higher in the flex spot. The next highest is the kicker, Brandon McManus. No one else over even 20%. So we have this discrepancy of a bunch of guys over 40, no one in between, the rest under 20. And then obviously Philip Lindsay is going to get his, and he'll be super popular as well. So this is interesting because every lineup is going to look exactly the same basically with Philip Lindsay. And unlike some of these slates in the past where the value has been too good to pass up, you just cannot pass it, you got to play it. Philip Lindsay could score 2 points, he could score 4 points, he could score 0, right? We could be wrong, and Deion Jackson's actually the guy that gets the number 2 running back work. Or Philip Lindsay could be washed, very possible. He's on his 3rd team, right? He could 10 carries, 9 yards. It's not like JT was lighting the world on fire when he got touches, right? So we get Philip Lindsay 10 carries, 18 yards. He's not going to be in the optimal lineup. So 2 paths here. Either play Philip Lindsay, and you leave a ton of salary, right? Because if you're right, and Philip Lindsay is the lead back or scores well, he can outscore guys up to 6,000, right? He could outscore Nyheim Hines. He could outscore Mike Boone. Obviously outscore the kickers and defenses. So if you're right, and you think that's the case, leave way more salary, because when we see lineups like this, slates like this, you think, okay, I can leave 1,500, I can leave 2,000 because he's so cheap, and that can be different. No, that range of outcomes needs to widen, because once you, even if you leave 1,500, 2,000, those are more duplicated than they would be on a normal slate where you leave 1,500 or 2,000 because of the popularity of Lindsay and because what optimizers will spit out. So if you do use Lindsay, lower that salary floor dramatically for large field contests, even for small field. Maybe not 2,000, 3,000 in small field, but just understand that if you use him, he'll probably approach 50% in small field contests. So just think about, if I play a 50% owned player, what does that generally mean for the rest of my lineup if I need to get different? So the other option, obviously the easiest one, don't play Philip Lindsay. Hope he doesn't score 6, 10 points. Very reasonable. And for the one slate ever, we don't have any kickers projected for more than 20%. So normally when the field loves playing kickers, they're not playing kickers tonight. Let's jump on the kicker train. Let's play defenses. Let's play some of these mid-range guys. Let's play Mike Boone. No one's going to play Mike Boone at 6,200. Could he be the lead back if Melvin fumbles again, or just in general? Yes, Mike Boone can clearly do that. These mid-range receivers and tight ends, can they outscore Philip Lindsay? Yes, right? Can some of the top guys fail? Yes, they can. Matt Ryan, can he fail? Yes. So I think the no-brainer way And if you want to get tons of unique lineups, tons of less lightly duplicated lineups tonight, just don't play Philip Lindsay. And you can make whatever lineup you want. It's very simple. Pretty likely that we see the screenshot trains on Twitter with 300 way chops tonight. Very possible. But again, these types of slates don't come around very often where you can build actual good lineups and get tons of uniques without really sacrificing much. And that's really comes down to not playing Philip Lindsay and playing some of these mid-range guys in more balanced lineups. So, really quickly, FanDuel, again, we don't have that dynamic. Russ Wilson's going to be popular at MVP. There's really no other, oh, you have to play this guy, the field's going to gravitate towards this guy. It's more of a typical FanDuel slate. So whatever you normally do for FanDuel, keep that in mind for tonight. Nothing different, not like it is on DraftKings tonight. So that'll do it for this video. If you want more in-depth thoughts, our writer Bismo does the Monday and Thursday night showdown plugs at OccupyFantasy.com. Gives player rankings, low risk, high risk contests, small field, large field contests, his overall slate notes, lineup construction tips for different contest types, contests you want to target. Really the in-depth rundown for how to beat a slate. And he goes into way more detail than I can ever do in these preview videos. So make sure you check that out. That'll be posted at 2, 3 p.m. Eastern. So after you watch this video later this afternoon, go check it out. Occupy model's up and running. I already showed you that. Ownership will be updated throughout the day if need be. Projections, the optimizer, lineup builders already up and running. Everything you need. All right. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get notified when we go live, upload new videos. We have more videos coming this weekend for NFL, so make sure you're subscribed and notified. Give us a thumbs up. Lets us know to continue to make these NFL videos. Lets us know that you like them, and we're going to put in time and energy to keep making them. Any questions, comment on the video. I'll answer them throughout the day. You want in-depth answers, join our Discord server, OccupyFantasy.com/Discord. All that info is in the description below. So, Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate you listening as always, and good luck in tonight's Colts and Broncos single game showdown slate.